Hello, my name is Jim Feldman. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for Shift Happens. And today we have Rob Cartia from Global Container Terminals. Rob, could you tell us a little bit about your business and what you do at the company?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Global Container Terminals is in the container shipment industry. We enable the world's commerce. I'm a Vice President of Operational Excellence. I lead all operational excellence and strategy execution activities within the company. We're located on the West Coast in Vancouver. We have two ports located there, Delta Port and Vanterm. We have 85% market share in that region. And then also we have a terminal in New York and in New Jersey where we command about a 34% market share there.
So a lot of open growth on the east side.
Competition is rough, yes.
So a little bit about the challenges that you face today with both the global shifts and political shifts, millennial shifts. Give us a little bit about what you deal with on a daily basis.
Customers are few due to a lot of alliances over the years. You know, as an example, in New York we have 3 primary customers. In New Jersey we have 3 primary customers, and even on the West Coast, you know, there's around 5. So when you talk about customers, there's really not a whole lot of opportunity to go out and get new business. There's always opportunities to acquire more volume. When you think about competitors, you know, the competition is definitely fierce in this industry. So you always have to try to determine from a competitive advantage standpoint what you can leverage to get a little further ahead of your competitors.
So when you talk about operational excellence, do you have an internal education program for your staff? Are they sent out to events such as this, or are they pretty much left on their own devices to understand the industry better?
Great question. I came to this organization in this industry about a year and a month ago. I came from 6 Fortune 100 companies prior: Sony, GE, Allegheny Technologies Incorporated, PepsiCo, Johnson Controls International. Coming into this company, which is a private equity, 382 salary people within 2 regions, they really did not have a centralized OE function at all. They had some presence in each region of OE activities, but nothing centralized. So this was the first within this industry, to the best of my knowledge, where we have a company in the industry that centralized it, put an emphasis on it. Once I came in, I knew that there was a need for business transformation, meaning the first thing that I worked with my global team of 9 to do was to create the GCT business system, where, you know, we put a lot of assessment maturity models in play across our value chain in order to drive full potential of the organization. To your point with training, we have an internal module portfolio, if you will, of training comprised of lean thinking, critical problem solving, and strategy deployment. In addition, we have reliability-centered maintenance, which will be coming on board. We partnered with a company called Lean Senseis International out of Vancouver to provide our Lean Six Sigma training certification, which just kicked off last month. So we're looking forward to seeing more. So from a business transformation standpoint, there's been a lot going on. One of the biggest things that we are focused on is the execution of strategy and developing a culture that is bought in, has accepted, and committed to that execution of defined strategy.
So from my perspective, your competitive differentiation in many cases to get that new customer is going to be based on price. But everybody can lower their price. So what do you do to not compete on price, but deal on the service side or the logistics side or something else?
Sure. When you think about Porter's 3 general strategies, right? Cost leadership, managing the middle of that income statement, differentiation, which is where we're focused on now with respect to your question, is how can we provide a higher quality service for our customers as compared to our competitors. So we really leverage the operational excellence focus and mindset that we're pushing through the organization to identify those areas to drive that higher quality service.
Do you find price is the starting point for most of those conversations?
It is, but to your point earlier, you have to stay competitive with the rest of the competitors in the port. There's fees that are charged. So a terminal could charge fees for companies that are leaving containers in our yard for long periods of time. It's a rent essentially being charged. So it's where you can get creative with the revenue streams that you can generate off the fees, but at the same time, you have to make sure it's not a major disruptor, or you're going to force your customers to your competitors that do not have those fees.
Within your organization, do you look for new distribution channels or new innovative channels to help increase that bottom line revenue?
New innovative channels. So in this industry, it's really rough. It's unlike being in a manufacturing industry such as my time in GE, where we manufactured locomotives in Erie, PA, and you're dealing with labor unions, right? You try to work things out, and if you don't, the company simply just moves to another state. As is the case, GE Transportation in Erie, they moved a lot of their production down to Fort Worth, Texas. In this industry, you can't do it. So the company essentially rents the terminal from the port, and we invest money in capital in the large cranes that you see, the assets that move the containers back and forth. But 75% of our expense is labor, and it's unionized labor. So where we win at this game is not trying to drive to full automation, but trying to kind of ease automation in, working collaboratively with the union. That's where you win. So if you look at Bayonne, New Jersey, where we have a terminal, we have some automated, what we call RMGs, which is rubber-mounted gantry cranes in play. And that only happened from a collaboration with the company and the union. But obviously when you talk about AI, machine learning, and automation in this industry, it doesn't go over well. So you have to have a strategy, and you have to collaborate with the labor.
If there was a way that our viewers today could take what you do, because you're locked in with the union, that's not something that's easy to negotiate, I would assume. You're locked in with the port, I assume, once again. Where do you find your operational excellence sweet spots to help develop more to the bottom line?
Absolutely. So I mentioned cost leadership earlier, the management of the middle of the income statement, right? So we look at EBITDA, right? Obviously there's a revenue as a lagging indicator, and there's EBITDA. So first and foremost is to develop the culture. The culture all have to be aligned and pointed in the same direction our 5-year strategy plan is. They have to be accepting of it and committed to it. Once you have that, and it does make a lot of things that, from a business transformation standpoint, that are being implemented, it really provides a good fast-paced enabler, if you will. So we have our annual initiatives from our strategy execution initiative that we have going on. So we work collaborative, where we work up, down, and cross-functional across the organization, where everybody's talking, right? That's kind of something new. Everybody in the organization is talking. And we are working to identify the opportunities that we have to drive the 5-year strat plan that we have. So again, I mentioned earlier the ability to execute strategy, having a culture that is committed to executing that strategy, and operational excellence. Those are the 3 forms of competitive advantage that I'm really focused on with my global team.
And would you say most of your competitors are older, more mature companies, and there's no new startups? So you really know, let's just say, who you're fighting with to gain that extra turf?
Absolutely. I'm sure if you looked at Global Container Terminals and all of our competitors, they've been around for a while. Over the years, they have bought other smaller terminals. GCT we've been down that road before. Our presence out in the West Coast, they were independent at one time, so now they're under our umbrella. But in this industry, growth from expansion, M&A, comes from the acquisition of maybe some of the container terminal companies that are having a hard time financially, or falling on other issues. But as far as a new startup coming in this industry, and I'm no expert in the industry, only being in it for 13 months. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of barriers to the cost of entry.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been most enjoyable. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you so much. Thank you.